What is up, guys? Welcome to another Project Euler tutorial. This is problem 21, imitable numbers. I don't know how to pronounce it. Let d of n be defined as the sum of proper divisors of n if d of a equals b and d of b equals a, where a does not equal b, then a and b are in something pair, and each of a and b are called something numbers. I think they're also called friendly. So friendly numbers. For example, the proper divisors of 220 are that list, and d of 20 equals 284. Okay, evaluate the sum of all friendly numbers under 10,000. So we have a limit of 10,000, as you can see, and we're going to have a start of 2. Yeah, we're going to have a start of 2 just because what we're going to do is import two things right away. We're going to import java.util.arraylist. I find this very useful, and I'll explain what it is when we get to it. And we're also going to import list, and I'll explain that when we get to it. Up here, we'll declare our final variables. So final in start, that will be 2, and the end will be 10,000. And then we're also going to need a sum because it wants the sum of all friendly numbers below 10,000. Next, we're going to get started into our loop, and we're going to go from start to end. So for int, we're going to call it index. Start index is less than the end because it's all numbers less than 10,000. Index plus plus. So what do we want to do in this loop? Well, first we want to find a new number, and we'll find a new number by adding the proper divisors of index. If this number is greater than index, then we're going to continue on with the rest of the loop. If it's less than the index, then we're just going to skip through that number because we're going to calculate everything basically because we already calculated that number, if that makes any sense. So we don't want to do any recalculations in here. So int new num equals sum factors index. And these are two methods we're going to make. I realize it can all be done in one method, but it's easier to read if you do it in two. So here is where we're going to test if it's less than our index. So if new num is less than or equal to index, we're just going to continue on with our next number. Otherwise, if the sum of the factors of the new number equals the original number, so if it equals index, then it is a friendly number, and we want to add it to our sum. We want to add it to our sum and keep the original value of our sum as well. So we're going to increment sum while maintaining the original value, so that's plus equals new num plus index, because we want to add both values. And since it's addition, we don't need parentheses or anything. That's all we need in our main method. So down here we'll system.printf the sum of all pairs there we go. So now we need to make these two methods, sum and factors. We're going to make sum first because it's going to be easier. Public static is going to return an int sum, and it's going to take a list, and this list is going to hold integers, but we don't know what integers, and we'll just call them nums. Need an int sum variable to calculate the sum. So for each integer k in our num series, we're going to add it to sum while keeping the original value. So we're going to increment sum by k. And then we're going to return sum. This is a very straightforward method. I'll explain list in our next method, factors. Public static is going to return an integer list, factors, and it's going to take a single number, so num. So right here's where I'll explain. We're going to declare a variable of type list. List is a variable. You need to declare a generic type. Well, you don't need to, but you should. A generic type of integer. Because this cannot take any primitive values such as int or double or float. It can only take wrapper classes or objects such as integer, double with a capital D, such as that. It can take strings, random objects, just stuff like that. So this is a wrapper class. We need to put that in there. I'm assuming you guys already know this. We're going to call this storage equals new array list. And the reason we can set list equal to array list is because this is a parent class to array list. The array list is the child to list. So we can set these equal to each other, and it's good to set these list equal to array list because it's more generic. You do not want to be super specific in any of your programs because it makes things harder for anyone else who tries to program in your programs. So continuing on, we need to find out the proper divisors. So for int k equals 1, k is less than num, k plus plus. If num modulus k equals 0, storage.add k, and then we're just going to return storage. And our program is done. Source format that and run it. The sum of all friendly pairs is 31,626. That is correct. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, leave a comment in the comments below. Me or another viewer will surely answer you. Please like if you have liked this. Even if you have not, please like it. And thank you. Watch again.